Welcome to the new book releases for the week of November 11th. Okay, I think I said last week had sequels and conclusions, but this week it just upped the game. We upped the game a lot. Let's go ahead and get started. There will be timestamps between the genres, and I might mispronounce author names, but I think this week is okay. We'll find out. I'm Morgan. If this is your first time here, let's go into YA fantasy. We are starting out with the conclusion of This Dark Descent duology. This one is Our Deadly Designs by Kaylin Josephson. Every 10 years, the citizens of Vanderwall gather for the Ilnar, a treacherous horse race famous for its alluring prize money and high body count. Tough as nail, Mikira Russell, the last in a line of renowned horse breeders, is desperate to win this year's race at any cost. But to make the track, she'll need to gather new friends and escape the crosshairs of old foes. In this one particularly, though, it says the Ilnar may be over, but the race for Eldarin's future has just begun. The hunt for the old king's lost heir is on, and the first to find him will win the throne. I don't think that's a spoiler. I still haven't read the first one. I meant to. Then we have one that's a collection of short stories in a world and series that is very known. That's Games Untold by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. It says, discover the stories of love and loss, power, puzzles, and life and death secrets in this mind-blowingly romantic collection that proves that when you love the way the Hawthorns love, there is no going back. And I think it had like 10 or a dozen little stories named. Some of them previously published, some of them just collected for this one. We're going to move into the more new adult side now. That's going to start with Sky Shade by Alex Astor. This is the next one in the Lightlark saga, which the first one started with this Centennium. It's a competition that happens every 100 years on the island of Lightlark as it appears, to host the Centennial. It's a deadly game where only the rulers of 6 realms are invited to play. The invitation is a summons, a call to embrace victory and ruin, baubles and blood. And this is the third book in the series. It doesn't say how many it's going to be. It does say saga, but it's continuing with the romance, and it says there's no room for love, in this sort of competition and deceit and things. Moving on, though, to a conclusion, we have The Shadows Rule All by Abigail Owens. Let the darkness rise in this breathtaking conclusion to the award-winning Dominion series. This one is following twin princesses where one of them was kept hidden as kind of the backup in case the heir was in danger. And after the queen dies, they receive a marriage proposal from this ageless king. And so she takes the place of her sister at the coronation and gets kidnapped. We move, though, into Romantasy with The Courting of Bristol Keats by Mary E. Pearson. After losing both their parents, Bristol Keats and her sister struggle to stay afloat in their small, quiet town of Bowes Keep. When Bristol begins to receive letters from an aunt she's never heard of who promises she can help, she reluctantly agrees to meet and discovers that everything she thought she knew about her family is a lie. Even her father might still be alive, not killed, but kidnapped by terrifying creatures to a whole other realm, the one he's from. So we have the portal fantasy aspect, and she's going to go to this other realm, and a bargaining aspect will happen. Our next one up, though, is Servant of Earth by Sarah Hawley. Kenna Heron is best known in her village for being a little wild, some say half feral, but she'll need every ounce of that ferocity to survive captivity under the cruel Fae court. Trapped as a servant in the fairies' underground kingdom of Misty, Kenna must now find her must help her new mistress undertake 6 deadly trials, one for each branch of magic: fire, earth, light, void, illusion, and blood. If she succeeds, her mistress will gain immortality and become the heir to the Earth House. If she doesn't, the punishment is death for both mistress and servant. Man, that's messed up. Moving into fantasy, we have another trilogy conclusion. Yes, I do believe that the Burning Kingdoms is a trilogy. This is The Lotus Empire by Tasha Suri. It started with the Jasmine Throne. And it says trilogy in my notes. It's set in a world inspired by the histories and epics of India, in which a captive princess and a maidservant in possession of forbidden magic become unlikely allies on a dark journey to save their empire from the princess's traitor brother, who I do believe imprisons the princess there at the beginning of the series. And she's fighting to get her throne back. Then we have another conclusion to it was planned to be a trilogy, but I think this is the fourth book. That's The Navigator's Children by Tad Williams. This series is The Last King of Osten Erid, which is in the same world as Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, which is the Greenbone Saga, or Greenbone Chair, Dragonbone. Remember the name of the book? I haven't read it. I haven't started it, but this trilogy started with The Witchwood Crown, and it takes place more than 30 years after the events of Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, as the world has reached a critical turning point once again. And this is supposed to be the conclusion of the Last King of Osten Erid series. For books that aren't connected to other things, We Shall Be Monsters by Alyssa Weiss. Gemma Caston lives with her mother in an isolated antique shop in Michigan, near a reclusive patch of woods concealing an enchanted gateway to fairyland. Gemma knows she's not supposed to go into the woods. Her mother, Virginia, has warned her multiple times about the monsters that lurk there, and yet she can't resist. And Virginia knows why her daughter wants to go into the woods. She understands the draw. So I do believe this is going to be told from both of them, mother and daughter perspective. I forgot to put in the notes, but I do believe it's the mother disappears, and so Gemma has to go into the woods to save her mother. Moving on to The Great Library of Tomorrow by Rosalia Aguilar Solace. This is the beginning of a series. Halia has served the Sage of Hope for the Great Library of Tomorrow for centuries. She is one of the chosen few who embody and protect the values of humanity across the numerous realms of Paperworld, which are connected within the library itself via magical portals controlled by the Book of Wisdom. But even her hope is tested when she and her partner Xavier, the Sage of Truth, are attacked while visiting the famous Rose Garden in the realm of Silveria. Wounded and in shock amid the storm of fire, they are confronted by the deadly figure known to them as the Ashman. That's really sad, and I should have stopped about the Ashman. In sci-fi, we have the conclusion of the Divide series, The Relentless Legion by J.S. Dews. The Divide is the edge of the universe. Now it's collapsing and taking everyone and everything with it. The only ones who can stop it are the Sentinels, the recruits, exiles, and court-martial dregs of the military. And we follow a ship that has been placed there. And this is the conclusion to that, so everything's on the line. We'll move, though, into mysteries with Big Breath In by John Straley. Diagnosed with terminal cancer, retired marine biologist Delphine is on the brink of throwing in the towel. She's outlived her PI husband and worries she'll become a burden to her son and his growing family. One night, while contemplating how to go on, Delphine witnesses a violent argument between a man and his girlfriend. When Delphine discovers the woman has gone missing along with her young child, Delphine embarks on a quest to find them. So she will be the amateur detective along the hunt, and it says it involves a very quirky cast of road trip characters. It doesn't start with the group on the road. She encounters these people along the way. And then a cozy holiday mystery of a series that I think I've heard of, but now I definitely want to start because Christmas will be soon. I'll Be Home for Mischief by Jacqueline Frost. This is part of a Christmas Tree Farm Mystery series. This is book 5, I think. It's Christmas time in Mistletoe, Maine, and the Historical Society has launched a widespread campaign to celebrate the town's 150th anniversary. Descendants of the founding family, the Snows, have returned for the first time, and Holly is determined to make the family's visit magical. In an attempt to put mistletoe on the map, Holly's mother, a respected local baker, attempts to break a record by baking the world's biggest gingerbread man. But her plans are whisked away when Mr. Snow's body ends up in the batter. That would be a very big gingerbread man, I'm sure. We'll end the week on romance. This Christmas by Georgia Beers. Yes, almost said bears. It's Christmas time and everyone is in the holiday spirit at the no-kill animal shelter Junebug Farms. When Junebug sponsors the annual Christmas parade to raise money and awareness for their shelter, the staff have a plan. The king and queen of the parade will spend the holidays filming adorable Christmas vignettes to bring in donations and find forever homes to the lovable pups before Santa comes. What they don't know is that Mia Sorensen, volunteer dog walker and superior matchmaker, is about to rig the voting so that her granddaughter Samantha and Sam's friend Keegan win the queen and queen of the parade. They've been dancing around each other for years, and if Mia doesn't do something, they might never realize they're meant to be together. But can Sam and Keegan ever forget that big embarrassing thing that makes romance a nope? That's all for this week's list. Maybe you found a new book to add to your TBR, or now that a series is concluded, you'll go pick it up now, if you're one that prefers that method. If there's any books coming out this week, though, that I didn't mention, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. I hope you're having an excellent day, finding something great to read, and I'll see you in the next one.